It was a warm summer afternoon in Orlando, and Shaquille O'Neal, the towering basketball legend, known for his dominance on the court and his larger-than-life personality off it, decided to reward himself. After years of success and hard work, he felt it was the perfect time to add a Lamborghini to his growing collection of luxury vehicles. Shaq, who was no stranger to the finer things in life, had always admired the sleek design and roaring power of the Italian supercar. The thought of cruising through the streets in a Lamborghini brought a grin to his face. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. Dressed casually in a crisp white t-shirt and basketball shorts, Shaq pulled up to the dealership in one of his other prized vehicles, a custom-made truck that barely fit his 7 1-inch frame. As he stepped out, heads turned immediately. At 325 pounds, Shaq wasn't just big, he was a walking spectacle. His charisma and warmth made him impossible to miss, even in a city used to its fair share of celebrities. Yet, as he walked into the dealership, the atmosphere shifted in a way that he couldn't ignore. The pristine showroom was filled with shiny Lamborghinis, their sleek lines and glossy finishes a testament to human ingenuity and extravagance. Shaq's eyes lit up as he admired the Aventador SVJ sitting in the center of the room. Its vivid yellow paint seemed to glow under the showroom lights, and he could almost hear the roar of its V12 engine in his head. But as Shaq approached the car, a salesman intercepted him with a look that was equal parts suspicion and disdain. "Can I help you?" the salesman asked, his tone sharp and condescending. Shaq, ever the gentle giant, responded with his trademark smile. "Yeah, I'm interested in buying a Lamborghini. I was looking at the Aventador over there." The salesman glanced at Shaq's casual attire, his towering presence, and, most notably, his skin color. He didn't recognize Shaq despite his global fame, and his bias took over. "These cars are very expensive," the man said, crossing his arms. "Maybe you'd be more comfortable looking at something more affordable." For a moment, Shaq was stunned. He had experienced subtle racism before, but this level of outright disrespect left him momentarily speechless. He wasn't just anyone walking in off the street. He was a 4-time NBA champion, a Hall of Famer, a successful businessman, and a millionaire many times over. And yet, here he was, being dismissed solely based on his appearance. "I know how much it costs," Shaq replied evenly, though his patience was beginning to wear thin. "I'd like to test drive it." The salesman smirked, shaking his head. "Sorry, we don't offer test drives unless we know the buyer is serious. And frankly, you don't look like someone who can afford this car." A hush fell over the room. A few other customers and staff members had stopped what they were doing to watch the interaction. Shaq felt his blood boil, but he maintained his composure. He wasn't about to give this man the satisfaction of seeing him angry. Without another word, Shaq turned and walked out of the dealership, his massive frame casting a long shadow as he left. As the door closed behind him, the salesman chuckled to himself, clearly pleased with his actions. But what he didn't know was that Shaquille O'Neal was not someone who took disrespect lightly, especially when it was rooted in prejudice. Over the next few days, Shaq hatched a plan that would not only teach the dealership a lesson, but also serve as an example to anyone who dared to judge others based on superficial qualities. Using his extensive network of contacts, he reached out to Lamborghini's corporate office in Italy. When they heard what had happened, the executives were mortified. Lamborghini prided itself on being a brand that welcomed enthusiasts from all walks of life, and the idea that one of their dealerships had treated a potential customer this way was unacceptable. But Shaq wasn't done. He decided to take things a step further. He partnered with a close friend who owned a luxury car dealership in Miami. Together, they organized a grand event that would showcase Shaq's generosity, his love for cars, and his commitment to turning negativity into positivity. The event was held 2 weeks later at Shaq's sprawling Florida estate. Invitations were sent out to car enthusiasts, celebrities, and fans. Lamborghini, eager to make amends, donated a brand new custom Aventador to Shaq as a gesture of goodwill. But the centerpiece of the event wasn't just the cars, it was the message. When the day arrived, hundreds of guests flocked to Shaq's property, which had been transformed into a luxury car showcase. The yellow Aventador that had caught his eye in the dealership sat front and center, now adorned with a plaque that read, "To Shaq, a symbol of resilience and strength." Beside it was the custom Aventador gifted by Lamborghini, painted in a sleek matte black with golden accents. As Shaq addressed the crowd, he shared the story of what had happened at the dealership. He didn't name the salesman or the location. He wasn't interested in revenge for revenge's sake. Instead, he focused on the lessons to be learned. Judging someone by their appearance is a mistake we've all made at some point, Shaq said, his deep voice carrying over the crowd. But it's what you do after that mistake that defines you. We need to treat each other with respect no matter what. That's what this event is about, turning negativity into positivity. The crowd erupted into applause, moved by his words. But Shaq's plan wasn't just to inspire, it was also to give back. He announced that he would auction off the custom Lamborghini he had received from the company, with all proceeds going to charities focused on education and racial equality. The auction became the highlight of the evening, with bids coming in from all over the world. By the end of the night, the car sold for over $2 million, and every penny was donated to causes close to Shaq's heart. The story didn't end there. News of the incident and Shaq's incredible response spread like wildfire. Social media was abuzz with praise for the basketball legend, with fans and celebrities alike commending him for handling the situation with grace and purpose. The dealership that had initially dismissed him faced backlash, and the salesman who had insulted Shaq was eventually let go. But for Shaq, the real victory wasn't in the downfall of his detractors, it was in the impact of his actions. Shaquille O'Neal's journey didn't end with the symbolic victory at his event or the charitable initiatives that followed. The experience at the Lamborghini dealership ignited a fire in him, not just to stand up against prejudice, but to leave a lasting impact on how people in all walks of life perceive and treat one another. His relentless drive to turn adversity into opportunities for change became a defining chapter in his post-NBA legacy. After the event at his estate, Shaq continued reflecting on the broader implications of what had happened. It wasn't just about one dealership or one ignorant salesman, it was about a system of biases and assumptions ingrained in society. The idea that someone could be judged solely by their appearance struck a nerve. As someone who had grown up in modest circumstances before finding fame and fortune, Shaq knew firsthand what it felt like to be underestimated. But his story was one of overcoming odds, and he wanted to ensure that others, regardless of their background, had the tools and opportunities to do the same. One evening, as he sat in his home theater surrounded by memorabilia from his illustrious career, Shaq had an idea. He envisioned creating a platform, a network that could connect people from underrepresented communities with opportunities they might otherwise never encounter. Not just in sports, but in fields as diverse as business, technology, and the arts. He decided to call it Project Elevate. The concept of Project Elevate was simple yet revolutionary. Shaq wanted to leverage his resources and connections to build a mentorship program that paired successful professionals with young talent from disadvantaged backgrounds. His vision extended beyond the typical scholarship programs or one-off donations. Shaq wanted to create a sustainable ecosystem where mentorship, funding, and access to resources worked together to uplift communities systematically. Shaq wasted no time putting his plan into action. He reached out to some of his closest friends and allies in the world of sports and entertainment. Stars like Dwyane Wade, Serena Williams, and even Hollywood A-listers like Denzel Washington and Oprah Winfrey were eager to lend their support. Within months, Project Elevate had grown into a massive initiative with a network of mentors ranging from CEOs to artists. One of the first major projects under Project Elevate was a collaboration with Lamborghini. Recognizing the value of aligning with Shaq's vision, the company offered to host workshops and internships at their headquarters in Sant'Agata Bolognese, Italy. The program, dubbed Drive Your Future, aimed to introduce young minds from underprivileged communities to careers in automotive engineering, design, and marketing. The initiative was groundbreaking, not only for its inclusivity, but for the way it broke down stereotypes about who could succeed in luxury industries. At the program's launch event, Shaq stood before a group of wide-eyed teenagers in the Lamborghini showroom. Some of them had never even seen a luxury car in person, let alone dreamed of working on one. Shaq's towering figure was as imposing as ever, but his words carried a warmth and relatability that immediately put everyone at ease. "You see these cars?" he said, gesturing to a lineup of Lamborghinis in various colors. "They're cool, right? fast, shiny, and worth a lot of money. But what's even cooler is knowing how they're made. Knowing you can be the one to design them, to build them, to sell them. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong here because of where you come from or how you look. You belong wherever you decide to be. The room erupted in applause, and Shaq couldn't help but smile. He had always been known as a man of the people, and now he was using his influence to bring others into spaces where they had historically been excluded. Project Elevate's success quickly gained national attention. Media outlets covered its impact, highlighting stories of young people whose lives were transformed by the opportunities they received. One such story was that of Jamal, a high school senior from Atlanta, who had a passion for cars but never imagined he could turn it into a career. Through Project Elevate, Jamal landed an internship at Lamborghini's design studio, where he worked under some of the industry's most renowned designers. By the end of the program, Jamal had not only secured a scholarship to study industrial design, but had also caught the attention of recruiters from major automotive companies. But Shaq wasn't content with just changing individual lives. He wanted systemic change. He began advocating for diversity and inclusion in industries far beyond automotive. His speeches at corporate events and universities became legendary for their mix of humor, wisdom, and raw honesty. "I'm not here to point fingers," he'd often say, "but if you're in a position to open doors for others and you're not doing it, then you're part of the problem." Meanwhile, Shaq's philanthropic efforts continued to grow. He funded community centers in underserved neighborhoods, ensuring they were equipped with state-of-the-art facilities for education, sports, and the arts. These centers became hubs for Project Elevate, hosting workshops, career fairs, and mentorship sessions. Shaq himself made frequent visits, delighting kids and parents alike with his approachable demeanor and genuine interest in their stories. At one of these visits, a young girl named Maya caught his attention. Maya was a budding engineer who had built her own model car out of recycled materials. When she showed Shaq her creation, he was floored. "You're gonna run the world one day, Maya," he said with a grin. True to his word, he connected Maya with mentors in engineering and provided her with resources to pursue her dreams. Years later, Maya would graduate from MIT, becoming one of the youngest women to lead a major automotive innovation lab. As Project Elevate's impact expanded, so did its reach. Shaq began partnering with global organizations, including the United Nations, to address issues of inequality on a larger scale. His message resonated across borders. Opportunity and respect should never be dictated by one's background, race, or appearance. But Shaq's crusade for change wasn't without its challenges. He faced criticism from some who accused him of overstepping his role as an athlete and entertainer. Shaq, however, was unbothered. "I've been underestimated my whole life," he said in an interview. "If people want to doubt me, let them. I'm not here to prove them wrong. I'm here to prove the people I'm helping right." One of the most poignant moments in Shaq's journey came during a return visit to the Lamborghini dealership where it all began. The dealership, now under new management, invited him to speak at an event promoting diversity in the luxury market. Shaq, ever the magnanimous figure, accepted the invitation, seeing it as an opportunity to bring his story full circle. Standing in the same showroom where he had once been dismissed, Shaq addressed a crowd that included the dealership's staff, customers, and local community leaders. "This isn't about pointing fingers," he said, his voice steady and powerful. "It's about learning and growing. We all make mistakes, but what matters is what we do after them. Today, this dealership has taken a step in the right direction, and I'm proud to be here to see it." The event concluded with Shaq unveiling a special edition Lamborghini named the Equalizer, a one-of-a-kind car designed to symbolize unity and progress. Proceeds from its sales were pledged to support Project Elevate and similar initiatives. Shaquille O'Neal's transformation from a basketball legend to a global advocate for equality and opportunity continued to evolve in ways that surprised even those closest to him. His story, while rooted in a personal experience of discrimination, became a rallying cry for systemic change, reaching across industries and into the hearts of communities worldwide. But for Shaq, his work was far from done. The challenges he encountered only fueled his determination to expand the reach and impact of his efforts. One of Shaq's next major initiatives was focused on education. He understood that many barriers to success were rooted in unequal access to quality learning opportunities. While his centers through Project Elevate had provided a foundation for local outreach, Shaq wanted to tackle the issue on a national scale. With his characteristic flair for innovation, he launched a new campaign called STEAM Rising, a program designed to inspire underrepresented youth to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. STEAM Rising wasn't just another scholarship fund, it was a holistic approach to reshaping the educational pipeline. The initiative partnered with schools in underserved areas to provide state-of-the-art technology labs, coding workshops, and mentorship from professionals in STEAM industries. Shaq worked closely with major tech companies like Google, Tesla, and Apple, all of whom were eager to support the cause. These partnerships ensured that students not only received resources, but also gained access to internships and early career opportunities. One of the standout features of STEAM Rising was its focus on arts alongside traditional STEM subjects. Shaq believed creativity was just as important as technical skills, and he wanted to ensure students had the freedom to explore their passions fully. He often visited classrooms participating in the program, sharing stories of his own artistic endeavors, such as his forays into music, acting, and business. He encouraged students to think outside the box and to see themselves not as confined to one identity or career, but as limitless individuals capable of achieving greatness in multiple arenas. The success stories from STEAM Rising were as inspiring as they were diverse. In one instance, a group of high school students from Detroit designed a prototype for an eco-friendly transportation system, which won a national competition. Their project caught the attention of urban planners, leading to funding for a pilot program in their city. Another student from Oakland created an app that used augmented reality to teach history through immersive storytelling, earning her a spot in a prestigious tech incubator. Shaq also expanded his efforts into housing reform, recognizing that stable living environments were crucial for anyone aspiring to succeed. Partnering with Habitat for Humanity and other housing organizations, he funded the development of affordable housing complexes in cities across the United States. But Shaq's approach wasn't just about building homes, it was about building communities. These complexes included community centers, job training programs, and even small business incubators to empower residents economically. One memorable project was a housing complex in Newark, New Jersey, not far from where Shaq spent much of his childhood. The complex, named O'Neal Village, included sustainable housing units powered by renewable energy, a state-of-the-art recreational facility, and a daycare center. At the grand opening, Shaq spoke about how his experiences growing up in a modest household shaped his commitment to giving back. "Where you start doesn't have to define where you end up," he told the crowd, "but it's a lot easier to dream big when you have a safe place to sleep, a community that supports you, and people who believe in your potential. That's what O'Neal Village is about, giving families the foundation they need to thrive." Shaq's ventures weren't limited to the United States. His global fame and influence allowed him to extend his outreach to communities worldwide. In Africa, he worked with organizations to improve access to clean water and education. In Asia, he funded programs focused on disaster relief and rebuilding infrastructure in areas affected by natural calamities. Shaq's presence at these international projects was always met with enthusiasm, as his warmth and humility transcended cultural barriers. One particularly moving experience for Shaq occurred during a visit to a rural village in Ghana. There, he met a group of young boys playing basketball on a makeshift hoop fashioned from scrap wood and wire. Watching their determination and joy reminded Shaq of his own early days when basketball was a simple passion, unburdened by fame or expectations. Inspired, he worked with local leaders to build a proper sports facility for the community, ensuring that future generations would have a place to play and dream. Shaq's philanthropy also began to reshape his public image in profound ways. While he had always been known as a jovial, larger-than-life figure, his work revealed a deeper, more introspective side to the man behind the legend. Documentaries and books chronicled his journey, highlighting not only his achievements but also the obstacles he faced and overcame along the way. His vulnerability in sharing his struggles, both personal and professional, resonated with audiences, further cementing his legacy as a role model. One of the most touching aspects of Shaq's story was the way he involved his family in his endeavors. His children, inspired by their father's example, began taking active roles in various projects. His eldest son, Sharif, became an advocate for mental health awareness, working with Project Elevate to provide counseling services in underserved schools. Shaq's daughters championed initiatives focused on empowering young women, ensuring they had access to the same opportunities as their male peers. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Shaq's experience at the Lamborghini dealership? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.